Every time I eat a fried chicken sandwich, I really want it to be this one. Crispy chicken, a nice sauce, and some fresh coleslaw. And it all comes together on a nice homemade bun. Let's cook. We need a scale. Everybody always gets so mad when I start weighing ingredients for buns or bread or whatever, but it's just how I do it. Boom, bowl goes on. Let's tear that. I'm gonna show you how to make these buns without any fancy equipment. You don't need it. Yes, it's preferred, but we're gonna use our hands. Simple, that's what this channel is about. Doing things without the fancy gadgets. Start off with some flour. I'm gonna do all-purpose for this. We need 450 grams of all-purpose flour. That's roughly 3.5 cups. When I'm baking, I like measuring the ingredients. I think it's way more accurate, but you know what? You do you at home. Sugar, 2 tablespoons. That's roughly 25 to 30 grams of sugar. I got instant yeast. You can use active dry yeast. If you're using active dry yeast, you'll have to bloom it with the water or the milk first. That's 2.5 teaspoons of instant yeast, or about 8 grams. And 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of kosher salt. Just going to incorporate these first. Let's get a measuring cup. We're gonna need butter. This is about 2 tablespoons or 28 grams. We need that melted, so Chef Mike, you're up. My wife hates when I melt butter in the microwave because I always let it get to the exploding level and it makes a mess everywhere, and I elect not to clean it. Every great chef needs a sous chef. Am I right? I'm just kidding. Don't tell my wife I said that. We need an egg straight in there. We're gonna beat that egg. Beat it like it owes you money. This is a crazy story. Well, it's not really that crazy. I mean, how crazy can it be? I'm in a kitchen. How I actually developed the recipe for these buns. One time I was making sloppy joes. I know, random recipe. I go to serve the sloppy joes. I'm calling the kids down, dinner time, dinner time. And I realized I didn't have buns. So I had to make these buns really fast. So what I ended up doing was making these buns. And actually they turned out amazing. I skip bulk fermentation mainly because it just makes them super fast. So this bun from start to finish can be done in like 20 minutes. And they came out like very dense and heavy, which actually worked very well for the dish that I was doing, which was the sloppy joe. We got our melted butter. I'm just gonna add it to the egg. Just get that nicely incorporated. We need about a cup of water, which is about 240 grams. This is about 240 milliliters. We want the water to be about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't wanna go over 115 degrees. I'm doing water. You can do milk if you like, if you want like a milky style bun. I find water works best with this one, mainly because if you were to use milk in a style of bun that's already dense, you just don't want to double down. I'm gonna go in with my wet. This is very similar to my white sandwich bread recipe. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I'll leave a link right here. The other thing is we're just shaping it differently and we're skipping the bulk fermentation. I'll get it out of the bowl and I'll start kneading. It's good to keep your flour right beside you because you might need more flour. You might need a touch more water. You just got to play with it. Even with this recipe, it always is sticky right off the get-go. So I just know that I'm going to be needing a touch more flour just to sprinkle. And if you're going to use a stand mixer for this one, you absolutely can. I would just medium low for about 5 minutes. And when I'm kneading, I'm pulling back and I'm pushing with my palm. And as it starts to tack up and get sticky, don't be afraid to just add a sprinkling of flour. Okay, we're there. Like this dough is nice and smooth. It's not super sticky anymore. It's a little bit sticky, but it's not like sticking to my hands. Let's check if we get spring back. It comes right back. If you wanted to bulk ferment this, you can. You would just put it in a lightly greased bowl, cover it with plastic wrap or a damp towel, put it off to the side for 40 to 60 minutes. It's gonna proof up. You're gonna do a punch down, literally punch it down. Then you would follow the steps of this video now. I'm skipping bulk fermentation. I'm gonna go right into forming these little balls. So I got myself a pan. I'm just gonna add some parchment paper. What I'm gonna do is just section these off into somewhat even balls. I'll cut that in half first, then I'll cut it in half again, and then I'll cut those quarters in half one more time. You should get about 8 buns. There's many ways to do this. You can take it and just kind of like I'm pinching. That's what I'm doing here. And I'm just kind of bringing that dough to my palm and then turning it. Do a little quarter turn and just seal off that center. And you have something like this. I'm kind of like rolling my hand around this dough, just kind of into a ball. And that gives you like a perfect little ball. And then that can go right there. I'm not greasing the parchment paper or anything. I can tell this one's significantly smaller than that last one I did. And little baby. Oh, little baby bun. Okay, look at that. We got 8 buns, 1 little baby bun. I'm gonna get another pan. I'm gonna use a damp tea towel right over top. 15 minutes. That's the only recipe I'm gonna give these. After 15 minutes, perfect. We're gonna brush them with some egg wash just to give them a little golden color. While the buns are resting, let's just prepare our chicken. I'm gonna use some flour, and I like a 2-to-1, 2 flour, 1 starch ratio. You can use cornstarch. I like potato starch when doing fried chicken. You can do a 1-to-1, will give you a lighter batter. You can do a 2-to-1 the other way using starch to flour. It's just trickier in the oil for the batter to adhere to the chicken. I'm just gonna get that mixed up nicely. Some people put baking powder in here. You can. That'll just help have a fluffier texture, but I elect not to. That was a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You can put whatever spices you want in this. I'm going like a Korean style chicken. I'm gonna do a little bit of ginger powder, garlic powder, and a little kiss of white pepper. Get that mixed up. So I like to do a double dredge. What I'll do is I'll take most of this flour. Well, let's say about 50-50. I like using soda water for this. You can use like a stout, a beer. You can use regular water too. And you wanna add it slowly because you're really kind of looking for this consistency of a wet pancake batter. I'm just doing a little bit at a time. Way easier to add something in than take it out. You see that? Perfect. All right, we need chicken. I got some chicken thighs. I think chicken thighs are perfect. These are skin off, bone out chicken thighs. When I buy this meat and then I pre-package it, I already trim it for fat and all that sort of stuff. So this is good to go. And that's just gonna go right in the flour. So we dredge them in the flour. I'm just gonna shake off the excess. I'm gonna go into the wet batter. And you can brine this chicken beforehand if you want. I'll go dry, wet, back to dry. And you really wanna press this dry. And it's okay if you get wet in your dry because that kind of helps with like the craggly bits.
Before we move on, if you want exclusive recipes, behind the scene updates, and tips I don't share anywhere else, join the newsletter. It's the first link in the description.
Shake off the excess. I'm just gonna put that there to rest. If you can let that sit, that's even better. Just for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes before you're about to fry. Wash my hands. Don't be getting people sick. Got like a Dutch oven, heavy bottom pot. Get that heat going. I'm gonna fry with my favorite oil, avocado oil. You can use like a canola or a vegetable oil, whatever your heart desires. Be careful when frying. You don't wanna fill this pot too much. You don't want this thing overflowing. I'm only doing 2 pieces of chicken, so I am just gonna go a little bit shallower. These chickens are resting nicely while that oil heats up. We can just do like, you know, a quick pickle, maybe on some cucumbers. Kinda wanna go thin on these, especially when you're doing like quick pickle, because you want that seasoning to kind of penetrate. Pinch of salt. You do about like a teaspoon if you're doing a full cucumber. Some shoulds, about a tablespoon. A little bit of rice vinegar. What's that, like a 1/4 of a cup? Grab a piece of garlic, just give that a smash. Toss it in there. A couple cranks of some black pepper. And that's a quick pickle. You don't have to heat up that liquid at all. Let this sit on your counter or in the fridge. You can do a double fry here or a single fry. If you're gonna do a double fry, I suggest frying at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. For the first fry, you're gonna fry for about 5 to 7 minutes. On your second fry, you're gonna crank that oil up to about 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're gonna fry for another 5 to 7 minutes until the chicken thigh reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna bring this oil up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, single fry it for about 10 to 12 minutes. It's like a creamy coleslaw. Green onion, carrot, and some cabbage. I do all my coleslaws like this, honestly. Just gonna segment these like this, the whites and the green parts all together, give you different levels of onion. I'm gonna cut on like a bias like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, just rough chop it. You want nice and thin on the cabbage. That's going in the bowl. Carrot, peel that. There's a garbage down here. I'm not just peeling on the floor. Do about half a carrot. And julienne this as well. Just give that a little je ne sais quoi. I don't even know what that means. Je ne sais quoi. All right, look at that. It's beautiful. It's got all the colors. Side quest. I honestly think if we throw the chicken in that right now, it's gonna just burst into flames and disintegrate into thin air. Should we try it? You guys ever eat chicken dust before? While that oil comes down, because I forgot about it, let's make the dressing. I'm gonna make a vinegary base and then I'll turn it into a creamy. So you can have best of both worlds. You can decide, do you want the vinegar or do you want the creamy? Because I make them both very similar. Vinegar, I'm gonna use apple cider. You can use white distilled. Again, use what you got. I'm gonna do maybe like 2 tablespoons, about a half a teaspoon of some celery seed. Love this stuff in something like this. 1 tablespoon of honey, just for some sweetness. You want like a good grainy Dijon mustard. You're not gonna taste the mustard. Don't worry, that's about 1 teaspoon. Get that together, dissolve that honey. You gotta season, salt, and pepper. And that would be your vinegary coleslaw. But creamy, I'm just gonna add mayonnaise. I'm gonna use my homemade mayonnaise. If you haven't seen that recipe, check it out right here. It'll change your mayonnaise game forever. I did about a half a cup of mayonnaise. Just gonna incorporate that. If it's too watery for your liking, add more mayonnaise. If it's too thick for your liking, add a little splash more vinegar. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Let's taste that for seasoning. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Add that right into the coleslaw. I'm just gonna give that a good mix. Let's check the temp of the oil. I'm aiming for around 350. When you're adding the chicken to the oil, always lay away from you and then drop it in. And then it's okay if you have to play with your levels, because when you're adding the chicken or any meat to like hot oil, it's gonna bring the oil temperature down. The last thing you want is the oil temperature to drop, because you're gonna end up with a soggy product. It's okay to be a little bit higher than it is lower. We're about there. Right onto a wire rack to cool off. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of sea salt. I'm gonna set these off to the side, let them rest. I think my buns are ready. Let's check it out. They didn't double because it's only been about 15 minutes, but they're definitely proofed enough. What I'm gonna do is just slightly flatten them a little bit. I'm going to use an egg. I like adding a little bit of water to my egg wash, a tablespoon. It's gonna help when you're egg washing your buns or bread, gives you like a glossy finish. And these buns, they're done quickly. This is gonna go in the oven, 400 degrees. I like to go a little bit hotter because the high temperature in the oven is also gonna help these proof up. You're gonna see when they come out of the oven, they might start to break away at the bottom, which is exactly what we want. Again, because we didn't bulk ferment, it's going to be a denser bun. If you're doing something like a smash burger where you're putting all the meat and the cheese and the jalapenos and the bacon jam and all that sort of stuff on top, you kind of want like a denser bun, something that's gonna hold up to all those toppings. I'm gonna go in the oven, 400 degrees, 15 minutes. In the meantime, let's make the sauce. Gochujang. If you're not familiar with this, it's like a Korean pepper paste. 1/4 cup or 85 grams, about 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of ketchup. We need 2 tablespoons or 33 grams of mirin, 1 tablespoon or 21 grams of honey, 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons or 30 grams rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of dark soy sauce. You can cook this down if you want. Again, if you want a little bit thicker. If you are gonna cook this down, I would omit the rice vinegar and the garlic, and then after it comes off the heat, then adding the garlic and the vinegar. I find when I cook gochujang, I try to avoid cooking it, or if I do cook it, I cook it on super low, because you can run the risk of burning it fairly easy. And we're gonna do some garlic. Look at that guy, it's massive. You see that? What should I use for perspective? My nose? Oh, my nose is huge. Never mind. Garlic looks puny next to my nose. I'm gonna grate some garlic right into this. Let's see, nice and thicky. Let's give it a taste. That's good. Spicy, sweet, just everything. Hitting all the notes, people. Check this out. Look at that. That was 15 minutes exactly on the nose. It kind of poofed up a little bit. See how it's kind of like broken away there from the bottom? That's good. Check the bottom. Nice golden crust. I'm just gonna let those rest. 5 minutes is all we need. We got buns. We're ready. Cut right down the middle of these guys. Let's build the sandwich though. My chicken, I'm just gonna dunk it right in this sauce. Get it all nice and coated. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go slaw right on top. Homemade quick pickles. Top bun. And that is my Korean fried chicken sandwich with homemade slaw, homemade pickles, the sauce, the homemade buns. It's gonna be the best thing I'm gonna put in my mouth today. So much love and care went into this dish, and I really hope you make it. I'm so excited to eat this one. Here we go. It'll like unhinge my jaw or something. Oh yeah. The right amount of spiciness, the right amount of tang, the coleslaw, the creaminess, the acidic punch from those cucumbers, that spice from that gochujang. The bun is holding it all together. That's the key here, is that bun. It's sturdy, it's dense, it's nice. If you're not making this, I don't know what you're doing. If you want to see another way how to cook a chicken thigh in a pan with a perfect pan sauce, click this video. We'll catch you on the next one. I mean, what do you want to see me make next? Like and subscribe, please. Like and subscribe.